Hello, scholars, and welcome back. This is week 3 of POL452, Organizational Theory and Design. And this is your week 3 video outlining what we have or what we're going to be working on here in our third week of this course. So as we break down, we have our weekly agenda, our module objectives, there's some videos, some reading assignments, and our assignments throughout the week. So let's break it down. Here in week 3, we are going to, we have reading out of chapter 4 and 5 of the Jones text. There are some attached lectures, and then we have 2 writing assignments and a journal assignment. This week, our module objectives, we will examine organizational structures within the public sector to evaluate effectiveness of the change process. And you're going to see that this week we're really going to start focusing on the public sector and how our public sector works and what is unique about our public sector. Our next, our students will demonstrate proficiency of the understanding the concept through the case study analysis. Students will examine and discuss the dynamic of public sector organization structures. We'll apply our Christian worldwide view to the evaluation of public agencies when evaluating efficiency and effectiveness. And students will begin analysis of a public organization using government databases and other web resources. So let's see how we're going to accomplish that this week. The next, this week we are going to jump ahead to our critical assignment analysis. So for this week, I ask you to submit to me your critical assignment, which is due in week 8. This week you are going to submit the name of the public agency at the federal, state, or local level of government you plan to use for your organizational analysis, and list the name and the mission statement of the organization. And why I'm starting with that this week is that ties into our critical assignment video, which I've attached. To summarize our critical assignment, we're going to pick an organization and we're going to apply the principles and the concepts that we learned in this course to that organization. The keys, though, is that your organization needs to be from the federal, state, or local level. So it needs to be a public entity. And what I'm asking you is to choose the organization, and this is going to be a quick assignment. Find the mission statement of the organization, tell me what the organization is, submit it to me. And I need this to be what I ask is you might want to watch the critical assignment video before you submit your organization, just so that you can understand what the critical assignment is all about, and the organization you have will be applicable. So what I've added to this week to start with as we run down is there's this critical assignment video that I submitted this week. And what that does is it just goes in detail over the critical assignment, what my expectations are. It goes over the assignment details and the rubric. So I suggest you watch this video before you submit and make sure that the agency that you choose is going to be applicable to the video or to the assignment. The next, we have our reading assignments, and we're in chapters 4 and 5 of the Jones text, which we're talking about organizational design and the challenges of organizational design, and then our changing global environment and how we're constantly having to change organizational design as we go into more of a global market, industry and worldwide reach of organizations. There's also a supplemental reading, and this supplemental reading is out of the Harvard Business Review, and it's when bureaucracy is actually helpful. And why I introduce this, or why this is included, is for many of us, we're taking that turn towards a public entity, and we need to have that public admin application. And if you are a public administration major, or if you have intentions of being a public administration, or if you're working in any public entity, the concept of your bureaucracy is something that you need to be introduced to and actually know and study the ideals and the logic behind that term. For many of us, we've been thrown around, or we hear the media talk of the word bureaucracy, and we always kind of think it in a negative context. But we need you to understand and research, and in this article, the concepts of the bureaucratic theory. If you are a PA major, you probably have heard the name Max Weber, been utilized as a sociologist to introduce the concept of bureaucracy and the bureaucratic theory. Remember, the concept of bureaucracy is it's just an organizational structure that is characterized by many rules. It has standardized processes, procedures and requirement. There's typically a division of labor and responsibilities, and there's a clear hierarchy. So when you think of that, that's not necessarily negative. That's all working towards an efficient and effective organization. That you have rules, that there are standardized processes, that there are procedures in place, that there are requirements, that there's a clear division of labor, that you have one boss, and there's a clear hierarchy in the command and the structure of the organization. So when you think of it in that sense, bureaucracy isn't necessarily a bad thing. It might be considered a vital component of an organization in order to be efficient and effective. While there is some problems, we typically think of it as the red tape and the regulations, the due process that can slow down government. We also sometimes think of it as the impersonal, where we're more looking at the scientific model of efficiency and effectiveness, and we're taking away the personal component of an organization. So I want you to read on this, understand this, especially since we are going to apply our critical assignment and a lot of the concepts in this class over a public entity. And especially for those of you who haven't worked in a public entity, you're going to have to start thinking in the mindset of a public entity. And those that you already, you can apply this kind of bureaucratic model and this bureaucratic theory to your organization as we move forward. We then go to the video that is going to be tied to your journal assignment, and it's a TED Talk. It describes what government can learn from baseball. So it's 15 minutes or so. It's a great comparison. I find it very enjoyable, and we're going to listen to this video, and that is going to apply to this week's journal assignment. So for this week's journal assignment, we're going to view the video about government and baseball to discuss the city of Boston's efforts to become a data-driven city. Consider the concepts of bureaucracy, its strengths and weaknesses. How can the data-driven process used in the city of Boston and discussed in the video assist in making a bureaucratic structure more efficient and effective? What do you think about the speaker's description of the city score concept? So great video, great concept, kind of pulling together a few different ideas and theories of design that we are presenting in this week. Bring it all together, and that is going to be your journal assignment for week 3. We then have our written assignment. And for our written assignment this week, it comes out of one of our case studies out of our book again. So it's going to talk about how Sony was reorganized and how Sony's reorganization occurred. It's found in our text. It's at the end of chapter 4, and it's just 2 pages. It's a case for analysis, and at the end of that case, there's 2 discussion questions. And I would like to see you answer both those discussion questions. There's a rubric that's highlighted. This grade is going to be based on the following percentage: 70% on the writing style and completeness of the answer, and 30% on the written format, spelling, and grammar. Once again, like always in this course, all of our assignments are due on the Sunday of week 3 by 11:59. So day 7, our Sunday, May 26th at 11:59, and there's 40 points that are possible. And then finally, we have our written assignment, which I also talked to you about, which you are going to submit that organization with its mission statement. So 3 deliverables this week: a journal assignment. We're going to watch a video, compare the readings and some of the concepts to that video, and answer that in a journal assignment, and our written assignment. Number 1, which we are going to answer the case studies out of our text, and our written assignment. So I think a straightforward week for us as we move into week 3. I look forward to all of your agencies that we will present. One of the things that's interesting for me on my end is I get to see 30-some different case studies, or 30-some different agencies, and how they compare and contrast. So I'm looking forward to your agency. If you have trouble, if you have any questions on the critical assignment and the organization you'll choose, obviously you can get a hold of me and we can discuss that. But what I ask of you, and that's the reason why we do this in week 3, is as we move forward in this course, keep in mind your critical assignment. And each time we have an assignment, and a weekly assignment as we move forward in the week, see how that applies. Many of the pieces of your critical assignment, the different portions of your critical assignment, we are going to cover in the weeks to come. and see how each one of the theories and concepts apply to your agency. As an example, here in week 3, we're bringing up the concepts of efficiency and effectiveness. How can efficiency and effectiveness be improved through the bureaucratic model? Would that apply to your organization? Does your organization already have a bureaucratic model in place? And if so, what does it do to try to improve efficiency and effectiveness? And many of you will need to start by thinking, what exactly are those two terms? What is efficiency? What is effectiveness? Can I have both of those, or do I trade one for the other? And I talk about that a little bit in our critical assignment video, and some questions and some food for thought for you. So let's have a great week 3. I look forward as we move forward. Remember, if you have any questions on due dates, any portions of the late policy, what the expectations are, the grading policy, that can all be found in the syllabus and the syllabus video, which was sent out as an announcement and is attached in week 1. So I look forward to reading all your work this week. Keep diligent, keep moving forward, and until we talk again, let's just say bye for now. I'll keep you in my thoughts and my prayers, and I look forward to talking to you soon.